Hello and welcome to our Listen and Learn series of the Fueling Creativity in Education podcast. This is a special series for winter 2026. And as a reminder, these Listen and Learn series is part of our interchange as we move from one season to another season. And this Listen and Learn series is super duper special because we are recording it live at
the National Association for Gifted and Talented Conference in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And Matt and I this week, we've done some scholarly work that's about our upcoming book, 10 Actions to Fuel the Future Creative. So be on the lookout for that link. And this Listen Learn series is all about capturing some moments we've had with some scholars and practitioners, and even a past guest we've had on the show who was fantastic, to talk about the latest and greatest of what's happening in creativity and gifted education.
So, as always, don't forget that with these Listen and Learn series, we do take all of the episodes and put them on our websites. They're available on one page. You just need to go to fuelingeducationpodcast.com to find that series, and we hope you enjoy. My name's Dr. Matthew Worwood.
And my name is Dr. Cyndi Burnett. So this is episode 2 of the Listen and Learn, and I have met the newly minted Dr. Sarah Caroleo, and we're going to talk to her a little bit about her poster presentation that was around training educators for positive advanced learning outcomes, a systematic review. And this was actually done in partnership with a past guest of ours, Dr. Jonathan Flucker.
Yeah.
So he was your doctoral advisor.
He was, and this was a part of his big federal Javits grant called Project PEDAL, which stands for, going to put me on the spot, Professional Transformation for Advanced Learning. And so we got to do a lot with professional learning. We're excited to talk about it today.
Great. So tell us what did you discover about professional learning?
Yeah, so in this study, we did a review of all of the studies that have been done in the U.S. related to advanced education, and we learned quite a bit. We were looking to see what types of studies have been done related to professional learning and how different features and different focuses have shaped teacher and student outcomes. So I'm happy to talk about any of those.
I would love to know more. So what kind of different things did you find, and then what did you discover as a result?
So we found 32 articles that fit our criteria, and within those, a lot of them used strategies that are endorsed by the general education professional learning literature. So they did things like they had sustained duration, meaning it's not just a one-time professional learning session, but instead they're doing it either in multiple sessions over 1 year or even longitudinal. And we noticed that when things were done in that sustained duration, they were typically associated with better teacher and student outcomes. So that was like one finding that we found to be particularly exciting. Another one that struck us was that in the general ed lit, they recommend having concrete materials that you give teachers in professional learning settings. So instead of just talking about an abstract topic like differentiation, you give them something concrete to walk away with, whether it's a curriculum set that has differentiation already kind of built into it and teach them how to use it, or even just a task that's already differentiated. And not a ton of studies in our corpus did that, where it gave them concrete materials, even though that's what it says in the gen ed literature to do. But when studies did do that, I think there were like 4 or 5 in our corpus that did that, and all of them had stronger outcomes specifically related to student learning. So we thought that was pretty interesting because it kind of supports what gen ed literature has found, but is really suggesting to people who are leading gifted and advanced education research that we need to be giving more tools, like concrete tools, and not just saying like, here's differentiation, go do it.
Right. So the tools and doing it over time. So it's interesting because when I came to you, I said, oftentimes when people come to us and say, we want creativity training, can you teach us everything you want to know about creativity in an hour and a half? I say, well, it's more than just like a quick, something I can give you that's going to teach you everything you want to know about creativity. So, Matt and I are very strong advocates for making sure that we have time, and that incubation time I think is really important as well. So did you find anything around the incubation time in terms of, you do a professional development, you give them those tools that they need and those strategies, they go out, they try to implement it, then you come back and you say, how did it go? What did work, what didn't work, and how do we move forward from that?
Yeah. I love that you use the term incubation. We hadn't thought of it in that way, but the connection to creativity is it's apt. Mm-hmm. And I think because we were using a framework, it's actually from some folks out of Brown University called the Building Better PL framework. And essentially it's like what you're describing, the incubation, where it's like they suggest doing like one training session. So let's say it's on creativity, you teach the general topic. Mm-hmm. Maybe you give them some time to try to implement it on their own, but something they really endorse in that framework is doing follow-up sessions, maybe even some coaching is available. And then you come back and maybe there's a task that the teachers have to do and bring back to another PL learning situation. We were pleased to see that a lot of the studies in this corpus did that type of, it's, I guess, incubation, where it's kind of getting PL in different formats over time to really embed and give teachers opportunities to struggle with it. Because I think a lot of the things we try to teach are pretty complex, right? You can't just learn creativity in 1 hour. You can't learn differentiation in 1 hour. So I think having those built-in scaffolds almost to let them think through and struggle is really important.
Right. And I like that word that you're using, struggling, because it's something that we've talked a lot about on the podcast is you have to go through, like, it's going to be hard learning something new, right? Yeah. As teachers, we feel like, we know what we're doing in the classroom, but when you introduce a new element, say differentiated learning or creativity, you're going to have some sort of struggle there. Yeah. And it's not going to be as easy as, you've given me a concept that on a slide, and now I'm going to go implement it into my classroom. But now I've got to, if you've been given the strategies and tools, you take those away with you, and then all of a sudden, like you're working through that complexity and ambiguity, and then you're really able to go back and say, I totally failed on this, but this is one glimmer that I had. Yeah. And now I want to build on that. And then going back and the continuous learning over the course of time.
Yeah. And like safe spaces to kind of fail, like is something I'm hearing you say, which I think is true. I think, often teacher mindsets is like a challenge for people leading professional learning. Actually, at the poster day, I had multiple practitioners coming up and asking me, like, how do you get people to buy in? It's so hard because teachers are overworked and they don't want to be there. But I think it's because teachers have gotten used to professional learning just being these one-shot things that they don't feel are helpful to their practice. Right. But if we design it so it is more helpful, being like they get those resources and they get time to really develop the skills, I think. And research shows, it's not just me thinking, but research shows that gets more buy-in from teachers, which is huge to see change. So, yeah.
Well, we are so grateful for your time today. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing your names on some upcoming publications.
Yes, fingers crossed. We're excited to get to share this work. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
My name's Dr. Matthew Worwood.
And my name is Dr. Cyndi Burnett. This episode was produced by Cyndi Burnett and Matthew Worwood. Our podcast assistant is Ann Fernando, and our editor is Sheikh Ahmed.